Hi, it's been a while. Sorry about that. Figure today I'll do a kind of short and quick one on a subject that's near and dear to my heart, fibromyalgia. I actually screwed up some of my ribs a couple weeks ago in an ATV rollover accident. Yeah, you'd think at 53 I'd be too old for ATVs, but I'm not. And I've been off work, and it really sucks. So I'm thinking, I got to do something. What can I do? So fibromyalgia came to mind just because right now I have such strange pain going on from the accident that sometimes it's hard to figure out what's accident and what's fibromyalgia. And so that's one of the things I want to talk about for people who don't know much about fibromyalgia and suspect they may have it. First of all, let me tell you something from somebody who has fibromyalgia. It is not an excuse to do nothing. That's one of the reasons I sometimes don't like to talk about it with people, because a lot of people will say, it'll get mentioned in conversation, or they'll overhear me talking to somebody or whatever else, and they'll say, oh, you have fibromyalgia. I'm pretty sure I have fibromyalgia. You know, I'm tired all the time, and I don't want to do anything, and blah, 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 blah. And I almost feel guilty, like I'm encouraging them to maintain their sloth-type existence, because, there are those people that use every excuse they can not to do stuff. I mean, they're just inherently lazy and don't want to clean or go out and walk every day or whatever, they want to sit and moan and groan in their chair, but the truth matters, that's where they want to be. And so it's hard for me, because I don't want to encourage that in people. But does fibromyalgia, in all honesty, make you exhausted? It does. Does it make you hurt in strange and weird ways that you would never have guessed that could even happen? It does. And that's why fibromyalgia is terribly under and over diagnosed. I personally believe, and you got to remember, I've been a nurse for a million years here. I personally believe that on the underdiagnosed side, there's a lot of people who are like me who thought, for a year, I woke up every day and felt like I had just had the biggest workout at the gym. And I've told you before, you have to ignore my size, because I am a gym rat and I do like to work out. I still like to work out, even though I can't now with my ribs. But so I think I went a whole year. I went a whole year thinking, what in the heck? Even if I skipped the gym for a day and just went out, walked 3 or 4 miles or whatever, it didn't matter. Every day I woke up and literally felt, not like when you have the cold or flu and you've got that achy body thing. That's not fibromyalgia. And that's why it's really hard for people to talk about fibromyalgia, because there's no true descriptive words for it. So when you talk to people about it, it just sounds so mundane, when in reality it's not. It's pretty life-altering in some ways. So people like me, I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong. I was sore all the time, and I thought, okay, maybe I need to shake up my workout and do something different. Maybe I should do free weights instead of the weight machines. I just kept hemming and hawing. And then I started to get super tired. Just super tired. You folks don't know me. I am the Energizer Bunny. I just go, 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 go all the time. Right now, being off work for my second straight week is making me literally insane, because I'm at home and I can't be going. If I'm going to be off work, I might as well be doing something productive or whatever, but I can't, because the pain in the ribs is so bad. I just can't. But I'm a goer. I'm a go, 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 go person. So to all of a sudden be hit with this just profound fatigue, and I thought, okay, pardon me, any minute that may be listening, I'm past menopause. I've been past menopause for years now. So I knew that wasn't it. And then the tip-off is, I had these really strange areas. It started with, I had bruised an area. I don't remember if I got hit with a racquetball, something like that. I got hit with something here, and it was kind of sore. And I kept waiting for the soreness to go away, but every time I would press on this one area, it would hurt. And I thought, well, that's super weird. And then months go by, and the area where I got hit was over, but every time I pressed on that one area, So, I'm a nurse. You do stupid things. You're like, I wonder if I have an area on the other side in the same place that hurts. And I did. And I thought, oh, that's super weird. So I've got these two weird spots, and I had spots that I already knew about that are around your elbow that you just can't touch on me, or, I jumped through the roof. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, this is all weird. And so I did like we all do. I went looking up on the internet, WebMD, and, what could be these symptoms and blah, 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 blah. And every single website that came up was fibromyalgia. Every single one. And I thought, oh, you got to be kidding me. No way. If anybody on the planet's not going to get fibromyalgia, it's going to be me. I am athletic. I do go. I don't eat horribly. I do have a decent diet. I drink just a ton of water. What? No, this can't be happening to me. And so I finally went to my own practitioner and said, can you just check the lab tests and stuff that you use for fibromyalgia, and just give me an idea? So he did. And he didn't want to tell me to my face I had it, because he wanted to send me to a specialist so he could tell me to my face I had it. And I know my doctor very well. We're on a first name basis. And I'm like, Steve, have I got fibromyalgia? Well, you've got a lab test that we often look for that diagnosis, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not going to tell you this lab test because it'll just bore the heck out of you. But it's just a basic lab test. It's a basic lab draw. They look at a certain titer in your blood. He said, yours is sky high. And so I went and looked up normal, and I don't know, it was like 0 to 2. And I'm like, what's sky high? And he goes, it's in the hundreds. Like, oh, crap. So then I go, and then I'm diagnosed. I go to the rheumatologist, and I'm diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Okay. Now think about this. I had these symptoms for a year before I finally went. And the only reason I really finally went is because I was getting so irritated that it was just messing with my workout routine. So for those other people who I consider it's underdiagnosed are the people like me, who they just attribute it to something else. Oh, there's something else going on. I have been working out too hard, or, I'm just really stressed with my new job or whatever. I think there's a ton of people out there that have fibromyalgia and they're undiagnosed. I think they just live with it. They think it's part of just getting older, or maybe it's a part of an injury that's not healing well. They just think, oh, well, I'm 45 now, that just happens. And they poo-poo it. And so I think there's that group, and then I think there's the other group of people who, pardon me if you're one of them, want that excuse of why they can't go to work, and they want that excuse why they can't help around the house, and they want that excuse about, oh, somebody else is going to have to mow the lawn now because I can't do it. I have fibromyalgia. And just like the doctors who are basically bullied into giving antibiotics to people when they know they shouldn't be giving them, but, the patient's going to scream at them, and the patient's going to change doctors, and then they're going to drag their whole family with them changing doctors. And this is one time, even though I think doctors should hold their ground, we all know doctors who will just give you antibiotics to shut you up. Because there's a lot of people that don't understand. They don't do anything for viruses. You just have to be sick for a few days, get over it, and then you'll be fine. But, that's not our society. Our society is the quick fix of everything. So I think fibromyalgia is becoming the new antibiotic with physicians. I think just like I said, give them to people who don't need them just to get them out of their hair. I think people will also give the diagnosis of fibromyalgia to people who don't have it. Because the patient, sure they have it, and they're not going to take no for an answer, and, they're going to tell everybody what terrible the doctor they are if they don't agree with them, and blah, blah, blah. I think so many physicians' hands are forced anymore into these things that they truly feel backed in a corner and don't have a choice. Because I'll tell you, I am not an expert on fibromyalgia. I don't say that I am, but I'm pretty informed on it. A, because I do have it. B, because I'm a massively inquisitive mind. So once I realized I had it, I have studied and looked up and read everything I can on fibromyalgia. So I have a pretty good knowledge base of it from a personal and a nursing perspective, because as a nurse then, I figured I needed to be schooled on it too, so that I knew how to interact with other people. Because honestly speaking, before I developed fibromyalgia, I thought it was a bunch of crap. I thought it was baloney. I thought people use it as an excuse not to do stuff. And the problem is, there are people that use it not to do stuff. But I'm telling you now, if you suspect, if you are weird, it's a weird achy sore. It's just not typical. And that's your tip off. It's not typical. It's weird soreness. It's strange pain. It's pain in areas you don't generally have pain, or you haven't before. You know, like I said, there's 18 pressure points that a doctor can press on somebody. You have to have 11 out of them to be diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I have 18 out of 18. If you press certain spots on my body, they feel just like you stabbed me. And that will never go away. That is just part of my person now. So I know not to squeeze my knee, and I know not to, touch certain areas on my chest and stuff, because I know it hurts. So there are ways they can diagnose this. Now, are there people that don't have the correct lab value come up and maybe have 6 out of the 18, tender points pressed? Do they have fibromyalgia? I don't know. Maybe they're just developing it, or maybe they're actually cycling out of having it. I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, there's ways for it to be diagnosed. There's ways for you to figure out. If you suspect you have it, you're super, super, super tired, and you can't just seem to get over the super tired. And remember, you can't add depression in here, because depression causes fatigue in people. So if you've got a history of depression, I know it makes it tricky, but your diagnosis is going to have to go on beyond something besides that. If you have the tender points that doctors press on, or if you have the lab value that's out of whack that they look for, then you can be appropriately treated for it. I'm in year number 3 with fibromyalgia, and I will tell you, in the last 6 months, I have started walking an immense amount. I mean, 9 to 10 miles a day. Since I injured my hip last year, and they just told me in June of this year I needed to cool that, I have gone down somewhat, but I still walk a pretty hefty load every day, 7 to 8 miles every day. I do take duloxetine, which is Cymbalta. I'm not a big med fan. I'm not going to lie to you. Cymbalta and Lyrica are the 2 things that are generally prescribed, and it took me a long time to be willing to even take it, because I don't like meds a whole lot. I will tell you, if you have those choices, I would take Cymbalta over Lyrica. Always ask your doctor, and always have your pharmacist do a med check of all your meds together and how they interact, so you know. And you can also do it yourself on the internet. Just look up, checking meds or med interactions, and then type in the meds. That'll tell you of your own meds if you should be taking them at different times than other meds. But I'm not a big fan of Lyrica. The companies come after me about Lyrica. Lyrica is a fairly dangerous medication, and it does some fairly dangerous things to people. So if tomorrow Cymbalta didn't do much for me, I would elect not to take anything before I would ever take Lyrica or its like-minded meds. They're just proving not to be beneficial, and they're proving to actually be more harmful. But I'll tell you, if you think you got it, go get diagnosed. There are things that can be done. But I will tell you, the interesting thing is, the more I have walked, the less my fibromyalgia has been. I mean, it's been fairly under control now for quite a while, where I go for a whole month and don't have a bad day, and then I'll just have one kick-ass day, and I just accept it for what it is, because that's just part of it. And then I'll go another month and I won't have another one. And I've been figuring out, the more I exercise, the less symptoms I have. The more restful my sleep is, but not in that I'm tired all the time way. So this is kind of important, because there's probably a lot of people out there who do not know they have fibromyalgia, and they're sitting in a desk job, and they're just exhausted all the time, and it would just take something so easy to go to your doctor and say, will you just test me for that? Will you just run the lab test that looks for that specific titer, and will you press those points, or even send me to somebody who knows what they're doing that will find out, because I think I might have fibromyalgia, and fibromyalgia is something you can deal with, because those of us who have it deal with it all the time. Just don't make it your coffin. Just don't make it the thing that you jump into and shield yourself from the rest of your life, because it's too easy. I can't help, I have fibromyalgia. I can't do that. I have fibromyalgia. Don't be one of those people, because I will tell you, you'll take your fibromyalgia and make it 500 times worse if you decide that you're going to sit in a chair all day and do nothing. That's not going to be helpful for you at all. So I think that's pretty much my disjointed spiel on fibromyalgia. I know it was disjointed, and I'm sorry. Like I said, the pain in my ribs right now is just astounding. I didn't know ribs could hurt that bad. So if you have any questions, shoot me a line at my email or my site or whatever. And if you do think you've got it, go get tested. And if you do have it, don't be a lazy slug and use an excuse to sit around all day, because there's a lot of us who don't. And so you just make those of us who don't look bad, so knock it off. Until next time, next subject, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching the Universal RN. Have a great day. Bye.